and welcome to Wild Walks and Real Talks. So I wanted to come on because I filmed loads of content over probably the last year or so, building my confidence up and doing more of these videos in the forest, getting used to talking to the camera. So I was dodging slugs on the footpath. And I've not really done anything with the content, and I really want to start to. So I'm going to kind of like rehash some of the stuff that I've already filmed, but I wanted to give a little bit of context to it. So the reason that I started filming in the forest was a couple of years ago. I lost my brother, and he was only just 40, and we were only 2 years apart. So losing him it's been huge for me and my family. We were super close, and I've got lots of photos of him, but I don't have many videos. I don't have his voice, and that's one of the parts of him that I really miss. He had this like really cheeky personality. He had this contagious giggle, gutter level personality, but like a really contagious smile. He was just such a lovely guy, and I find it really hard to not hear that. It's the part of him that I miss. You almost forget how people sound. You forget like the little bits of their personality that come through when you talk to them. I mean, I miss him physically, obviously, but I miss talking to him. He had a stroke in the middle of COVID at the age of 39, and it hit him really hard. He lost the use of 25% of his brain. He found it really hard to talk, and he couldn't get his words out. He was at home and not working, and he'd worked really hard to get a job that he thoroughly loved. So we used to have our coffee breaks together. We'd get on the computer and we'd both sit there with our cup of tea and we'd talk. It was just a way of making him like feel like he wasn't on his own, that we connected, and we had the time to do that, and for that I'm super grateful. But yeah, so it left me missing his voice, and it made me sort of start to think, and it made me realise that I have loads of photos and quite a few videos of my husband and my children. I have thousands of my dogs, but I didn't have very many of me. I was probably quite a typical mum / female of kind of taking the photos of everybody else and capturing the moment that way, but not actually being in them. And then I realised I had even less video. I hated it. I hated being on camera, and I kind of made a little bit of a promise to myself that actually what I would do is I would start and film myself. I walk a lot on my own. I spend quite a lot of time on my own, but I enjoy it. It means I get to come out into the forest and enjoy nature with the dogs and a little bit more on my own. And I just thought, it's not going to happen for a very, very long time, but I want my children to be able to have a bit of a record of who I am. I want them to be able to hear my voice. But also, I'm not always going to be like this. I'm not always going to look like this. I'm not always going to be able to possibly do what I'm doing. There have been times in my life where I've been incapacitated. I've not been able to walk, and I spent weeks bedbound. And actually, that's why I value my time outside so much. I really, really value walking. I can't run. It does too much damage to my body as much as I would like to. I used to be quite a good runner when I was younger. And once I started walking, I always thought, oh, I need to do more. And then it made me realise that sometimes just being grateful for where you are is enough. And I'm happy to get out and walk if I get at least one day a week in the forest like this, or in a wild nature place, it literally tops up my soul and I'm happy. But there's no guarantee that I'm always going to be able to do this. So I want to do these wild walks and real talks. I mean, hopefully eventually you might have other people other than me on the videos, and we can talk about kind of them and what it means to them to come out into nature, or how it makes them feel. But for now, they're for me. They're for my family. Hopefully they enjoy watching them back, like years to come when we have like maybe grandchildren or something. It gives them a bit of an insight to who I am and what makes me happy, what I'm passionate about. So I've spent the last couple of weeks, in the time around my full-time job, I've spent working on my Soul Sister Sanctuary, which is a membership for women who want to thrive and be abundant and slow down and connect with nature. And the reason I'm building it is it's a community I want. I don't want to do all of it on my own. I've started kind of like sharing this a little bit with other people. I've kind of got friends and this is all new to them. I found that I've really enjoyed sharing what brings me joy and what makes me happy with other people, and that even if they don't do what I do, that they take a little bit of it. And I found that by talking to them about sustainability, which is a huge passion of mine, that talking to them about that and the message of Surfers Against Sewage, I'm a local rep for them and have been for a few years, and it's something I passionately believe in. They're a grassroots ocean conservation charity, and they champion really hard for safer seas and waters, to stop the water companies taking a mick and literally dumping raw sewage in the waters for us, because it's great to swim in that. So I've been talking more about it with people around me and kind of with new connections, and I just assume that everybody knows what I know, because I think our self-confidence is pretty pants a lot of the time. So I just assume that everybody knows the things I know, and then it turns out actually they don't, but they're open to a conversation. They're open to a real talk about how changing your bottle of Evian for a reusable water bottle that you fill up with filtered water at home is so much better for you, and it's better for the planet. You're not filling your body full of microplastics. You're not supporting companies that are literally selling plastic. I mean, they pinch the water for free and then they're selling plastic bottles basically. That by taking your reusable coffee cup out with you, you're saving loads and loads of single-use plastic. Not only that, again, you're not kind of pouring hot water into a plastic liner and again filling yourself with microplastics. Also saves you money. You can refill for free in most places. There's a refill app, and you can go to it and it'll tell you where you can refill your water bottle for free. You normally get discount off your coffee if you take your reusable coffee cup. I mean, sometimes you can get like up to 50 pence off, which if you drink a lot of coffee, it's a couple of free coffees a week, and you don't even need a reward card for it. So yeah, I've just kind of been thinking about all these things and the message that I want to share. So yeah, I'm going to hopefully do these wild walks and real talks and just spend maybe 15 minutes of my time in the forest talking like this. I don't know why I find it easier. I feel more at peace, and I thought I'd struggle with conversation, but I don't. And I like it. I like being able to share what I'm passionate about. And then the purpose of the Soul Sister Sanctuary is that there's resources. So on a video I filmed in January, I was talking about how like fast fashion and how I'm trying to just buy materials like this. So if I buy anything new this year, I've made a promise to myself that it will be made of renewable materials, not recycled. I'm done with recycled plastic. It's still plastic. When you wash it, it still releases millions of tiny microfibers. So I'm only buying kind of like natural materials. So this is wool, and I'm buying them from renewable sources, and I'm using kind of B Corp or 1% for the planet kind of companies. And I'm just thinking a bit more about what I'm buying and why I'm buying it. And I think that's really important. Definitely, I've never been one for fast fashion, as you can tell. Fashion's not really my forte. I'm always cold, so I'm more of a jumper girl. But I do, like for outdoor gear, for example, you would think it'd be more sustainable than it is, and it's not. So yeah, kind of working with that. But that made me sort of think on the same video. I was feeling really overwhelmed by all the information that comes from self-help books, from podcasts, from YouTube videos, literally feeling completely and utterly overwhelmed by it. About the conflicting information, about how if you did everything that they told you to, it would be, basically you couldn't afford to do it with time or money, unless you're a full-time athlete, completely sponsored, and you get everything for free. And even then, you've got the conflict in between the supplements and your sleep and your food, your diet, your exercise. It's just like literally like a full-time job. So it made me think about, okay, well, how do we get back from that? And I came down to the way that there are 8 ways. I've been reading books, and there's an old goddess called Ellen of the Ways, and she's meant to be older than the Green Man, and sort of an ancient goddess that people have worshipped for many years, and she's a lady of the land. And I've kind of found a few things with her in, and I've really connected with them, really resonated. I went to Glastonbury a few weeks back and managed to find like a little goddess statue that had been made by, I think the lady's Philippa Bower of Glastonbury. It's beautiful. And that again got me thinking, well, the way I see it, there are 8 ways to a thriving life. And I started creating that for inside the sisterhood of the Soul Sister Sanctuary. Started thinking about, well, what we really need is, we need good food, we need hydration, you need to think about your mind and your body, and it broke down to 8 ways, and it's been really interesting and really rewarding, kind of tweaking them out into a way of living. And I realised that's pretty much what I already do. So I've built that inside the Soul Sister Sanctuary this week. I'm just putting together the seasonal content for the remainder of spring. There will be kind of like seasonal eating guides as to what foods in season, seasonal planting guides, journal prompts and gratitude prompts, a lot on sustainability, and gently introducing you to small ways you can make changes that have a massive impact, that don't impact your life, as in, most of us have a life that we thoroughly enjoy. We don't want to give things up. And a lot of the time, sustainability, people think lack rather than abundance. And abundance is kind of where I want to come from this, because in order to make it last and like a habit, people need to feel abundant. They need to feel that connection. So yeah, so sustainability is in there in sort of short ways. And I built a mini course. So it's a 29-minute video guide to seasonal abundance. And I thoroughly enjoy doing it. That's got a few sustainable ways, how to bring the seasons into your life. And literally the video's 29 minutes. There's quite a good workbook that goes alongside it, and then there is a slide deck of the presentation that I kind of narrate over. But hopefully other people will find value in it. But I've really enjoyed just kind of putting down what makes me happy, what's important to me, and kind of been creative with it. I've found my creativity, and I suppose that's how I feel about this video. I mean, it's kind of hard not to feel inspired when you've got this as your backdrop. So that there is Woolsbarrow Hill Fort, so it's an Iron Age hill fort. It's a bit of a grey, misty morning, and I'm gonna go and enjoy a quiet coffee. I'm gonna go enjoy the rest of the walk in silence other than shouting at the dogs, and solitude because it's early and there's not that many people out. But yeah, I just wanted to come on, and I want to get into the habit of connecting with my wild walks and real talks, and hopefully you like it. And the dogs are now playing. Rephrase that, Tally's now playing, Xena not so much. What are you up to? We can get through the gate. There we go. So I just want to say thank you for being here. I'm going to try and get these out on a weekly basis. I'm going to try and keep them short and sweet, and to a continuous take, so that you can see it is a real talk. It's not edited, it's not scripted, it's just me and my musings in the forest, basically. I was going to say, now we're walking through like a bit of gorse at the moment. So you've got these, look how yellow they are. And in case you didn't know, gorse smells like coconut. So as I'm walking through this part of the forest right now, all I can smell is coconut, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So have a wonderful weekend wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Try and make sure you get outside, even if it just means taking your cup of tea, sitting by a window or in the garden, and